Arizona, the sunny state known for its deserts, warm weather, and endless roads, had gained a chilling new label, a haunting story that spread across college campuses. For years, mysterious murders had been happening at parties all over America, always following the same pattern. 5 people, 5 victims, and no one ever survived to tell what really happened. Jennifer Morgan didn't believe in those stories. They're just urban legends, she would tell her friends while listening to podcasts about mysterious disappearances. But deep down, she always felt a slight shiver whenever she heard tales of killers disguised as teenagers, watching their victims from up close before ruthlessly striking. That evening, Jennifer was throwing a party at her house off campus. Her parents' home was the perfect spot, isolated with a large yard and a spacious terrace. It was a classic college party. Loud music, colorful lights, alcohol, and laughter filling the air. Her 4 best friends were there: Kate, Ashley, Lindsay, and Megan. The house was packed with people, but Jennifer noticed one guy standing alone in the corner of the living room, watching her from under his hoodie. She had never seen him before. Suddenly, he rushed toward the exit, and Jennifer, curious and uneasy, followed him outside. Before disappearing into the night, he handed her a note. On the paper, there was just one chilling sentence: "If you don't kill your friends, everyone at this party will die." Jennifer stared at the message in shock, thinking it must be some kind of sick joke. She looked up, but the guy was already gone. Thinking someone was just messing with her, she crumpled up the note and tried to shake it off, though a sense of unease lingered. A little later, she found another note, this time warning her that she didn't have much time left to choose the first victim. Panic set in. Jennifer didn't know what to do. She looked around at all the people, desperately trying to evacuate them, but no one took her seriously. Crying, she ran upstairs and found Kate standing on the balcony of her room. Kate was leaning over the railing, chatting animatedly about something a student had said earlier. She had always been loud and loved being the center of attention, but now something was different. Jennifer saw a perfect opportunity to carry out what the note demanded, and she couldn't fight the overwhelming emotions inside her. Her legs moved on their own as she approached Kate, grabbed her, and pushed her off the terrace. Kate's scream echoed briefly before it was cut short by a sickening thud. When Jennifer looked down, she saw Kate's lifeless body sprawled on the ground, blood slowly pooling beneath her head. In complete shock, Jennifer went back inside, but everything started to blur. The voice in her head grew louder, telling her she had to keep going. There was no turning back now. She continued. She went downstairs and spotted Ashley, who was storming out after a fight with her boyfriend. Furious, Ashley grabbed her keys and headed to her car, determined to leave the party. Jennifer ran after her, but couldn't find the words to stop her. Ashley got into the car and started the engine. But before she could drive away, Jennifer grabbed a knife lying on the back seat and plunged it into Ashley's neck. Ashley tried to scream, but the sound was muffled as blood sprayed onto the steering wheel. Jennifer watched as Ashley took her last breath, then slipped back into the shadows, her hands trembling violently. Meanwhile, Lindsay had started noticing that something was wrong. She couldn't find Kate or Ashley. As she searched for her friends, she ran into Jennifer. "What's going on? Where is everyone?" Lindsay asked, but Jennifer grabbed her hand and led her outside. She said they had to find the others. As they moved farther from the house, Lindsay grew more suspicious. She questioned Jennifer about where they were going, but got no answer. When they reached an abandoned garden, Jennifer suddenly stopped. Without warning, she raised the knife and stabbed Lindsay in the back. Lindsay dropped to her knees, staring at Jennifer in disbelief, blood trickling from her lips as tears filled her eyes. Jennifer couldn't believe what she had done. She had killed 3 of her best friends, but the voice in her head kept urging her on. She had to finish it. Before Megan could figure out what was happening, Jennifer had already returned to the house, tears streaming down her face and the knife still in her hand. Megan saw her and ran toward her. "What happened? Where is everyone?" Megan asked, panic in her voice. But before she could get an answer, Jennifer stabbed her in the stomach right in front of everyone. Megan collapsed to the floor as students screamed and fled in terror. With her last breath, Megan looked up at Jennifer, her eyes wide with shock. Jennifer began to scream, sobbing uncontrollably, shouting that she had been forced to do it, that she had no choice, that it was the only way to save the others. Consumed by guilt and horror, Jennifer slowly raised the knife and plunged it into her own stomach. As she fell to the floor, bleeding out, she looked around at the terrified faces. The last thing she saw was the guy from earlier, the same guy who had given her the note. He stood in the doorway, watching her, and as she lay dying, he smiled and gave her a small wave. After that night, the house fell eerily silent. The police never managed to explain what really happened. Another party, another 5 dead bodies, another unsolved case. And the killer moved on, choosing the next party, the next victims, the next unlucky 5 who wouldn't survive.